We thought it was split, but it wasn't. It started with a brown envelope. You know, the one thick paper, terrifying logo, no hint of joy. I just finished reheating leftover pasta when I saw it wedged in the postbox. Finanzamt. My stomach dropped. I hadn't ordered fear for dinner, but there it was. Still, I told myself, it's probably just a formality. I mean, I didn't even earn that much, right? Mini job here, a bit of tutoring there, sold a few designs online, helped a startup translate their website for beer money. Nothing huge. Nothing worth raising the federal eyebrow over. Or so I thought. I opened it. I read it. I blinked like the words might rearrange themselves into something friendlier. Apparently, Germany didn't care how I earned the money or who paid me. Whether it was split across months, jobs, or side hustles, they saw one big pile. And I had crossed the threshold. That's when it hit me. We thought it was split, but it wasn't. Not legally, not financially, definitely not in the eyes of the Finanzamt. And suddenly, I wasn't just a student trying to make ends meet. I was someone who owed the German government money I didn't even know I'd earned. Moving to Germany felt like starting a new level in a game I didn't read the manual for. Berlin was cold, beautiful, and just confusing enough to feel like you were constantly one wrong train stop away from accidentally enrolling in a carpentry course. I arrived with 2 suitcases, one phrase in German Sprechen Sie English, and a dream. Study, earn a little money, and maybe explore Europe on cheap Ryanair flights. First mission, Anmeldung, the official registration of your address. Sounds simple, except you need a flat to register. But you need to be registered to get a flat. Classic German logic, a loop only solvable by sheer panic, or a friend who knows someone. Eventually, I found a place. Tiny studio, 5th floor, no lift, but it had a window and decent Wi-Fi. Win. I landed a mini job at a cafe, 12 an hour, 10 hours a week. Under the 520 month limit, so no taxes, right? I was thrilled. Cash in the bank, free coffee, and the odd leftover croissant. It felt like winning. Then someone from uni asked if I could help their cousin with English tutoring. Online, paid via PayPal. Casual stuff. Of course, I said yes. Then someone else wanted help with proofreading their uni essays for a small thank you. It kept happening, 30 here, 50 there, digital crumbs that added up faster than I realized. But they were all different jobs. Separate gigs. One was formal, the rest were informal, paid in random apps, envelopes, even an Amazon gift card once. Surely they're all split, I thought. Surely I don't need to register for taxes for such small, scattered amounts. And even if I did, what were they going to do? Track down every tutoring hour I logged over Zoom? I didn't ask questions. Because when you're juggling studies, side gigs, and a new language, you prioritize survival over bureaucracy. Looking back now, that was the exact moment I went from tax innocent to future headline in a Finanzamt case study. But at the time, I felt like I was hacking the system. Turns out, the system was quietly logging everything. It all seemed harmless enough. I wasn't rolling in cash, I was just surviving. And according to my friend Anna, who'd lived in Germany a whole 6 months longer than me, so naturally, she was an authority. You only need to file taxes if you earn over 10, 0 a year. I nodded like I understood, like I double-checked it, like I wasn't putting my financial well-being in the hands of someone whose budgeting strategy involved manifesting money vibes. So I carried on. Cafe job, still under 520, month, totally safe. Tutoring, just 30 here, 40 there, sometimes in cash, sometimes PayPal, never anything wild. A bit of proofreading, some freelance editing, even helped someone write a Tinder bio for 15 and a cinnamon bun. All tiny, sporadic jobs. Individually, nothing felt like income. It felt like thank you money, giggle money, help me out and I'll sort you kind of money. But I kept saying yes, because rent doesn't negotiate and Lidl doesn't do discounts for vibes. By the end of the year, I sat down to do a mental tally. Just curiosity. Cafe wages, around 6-0. Freelance bits? Close to 602. Wait, what? 12-0. I froze. 12,000 euros across 10 months. Not 1 cent declared. No freelance registration. No tax number. Not even a scribbled spreadsheet. But surely the tax office would understand. I wasn't evading tax. I was just uninformed. A student. Foreign. Naive. Not naughty. Right? Spoiler. The Finanzamt doesn't do feelings. They don't care that it felt like separate gigs. They don't care that no one gave you a pamphlet at the airport titled, "Welcome to Germany, don't get fined." What matters is numbers. And mine weren't adding up the way they were supposed to. I had crossed the income threshold. I had technically earned money as a freelancer, and I had filed exactly 0 paperwork about it. Ignorance isn't innocence in tax language, and deep down, I think I knew it. I just hoped, like a child hiding a broken vase, that if I looked the other way long enough, maybe no one would notice. Germany noticed. It came on a Thursday. A brown envelope with my name printed like a death sentence. The return address? Finanzamt Berlin, which, if you've never received mail from them, has the same vibe as a Hogwarts howler, but with fewer spells and more spreadsheets. I opened it with trembling hands, hoping for something minor. A reminder. A friendly nudge. Nope. It was a tax assessment. Thick paper. Long words. German legal terms in bold, like they were shouting. And there it was, line by line, every source of income I hadn't declared. The cafe wages, the PayPal tutoring, the odd little freelance invoices. They had it all. They'd done the maths. I owed taxes. I also owed a late filing fee and interest. Germany, it turns out, is thorough. Like, we know you got paid in croissant. Thorough. I sat there, mouth dry, heart hammering like I'd been caught smuggling bratwurst across a border. My laptop blinked awake. First search, do international students get deported for tax mistakes? Second, how to flee Germany quietly. Kidding, mostly. Third, what is Elster and why does it sound like a Bond villain? I knew then this wasn't something I could ignore, not a deal with it later kind of problem. This was real. Adult. German adult. The Finanzamt had found me, and they weren't just asking questions, they were sending bills. The next week, I booked an appointment with a Steuerberater tax advisor. I didn't know what to expect. A lecture? A fine? A swift kick out of Germany? What I got was Frau Lint. Blunt, no nonsense, hair in a bun so tight it probably had Wi-Fi. She didn't scold me, she just asked for the papers. I handed her a messy folder that smelled vaguely of panic and printer ink. She clicked her pen, sighed, and said, "Okay, we can fix this." She explained things I should have known on day one, that even as a student, once you start freelancing, you need to register. That Germany has a basic tax-free allowance currently just over 10 Rs. 0, but that doesn't apply if you don't file. That Elster isn't an evil sorceress, the official German online tax platform. Complicated, but not malicious. She asked if I'd declared my health insurance. I hadn't. She asked if I'd kept receipts. I hadn't. She asked if I had any sort of system. I laughed nervously. She did not. Still, we filed. Late, but filed. I paid the tax bill plus the late fee. It hurt. But I didn't die. And then, something shifted. I started a spreadsheet. Color-coded tabs, one for income, one for expenses. One just called Oops for things I wasn't sure about. I registered properly as a freelancer. I created invoices that looked mildly professional. I even kept digital copies of receipts. I began to set aside 20% of every gig, no matter how small. I opened a savings account just for taxes no touchy. Each step didn't feel heroic. It felt like flossing, tedious, but clearly important. But after a while, something happened. I wasn't scared of letters anymore. I wasn't Googling how to undo a freelance mistake in German. I was coping. Maybe not thriving, not yet, but coping with confidence. I felt 5% wiser, then 10%, then 50%. And before I knew it, I was the one explaining Elster to other confused students, giving quiet advice to new arrivals at uni. The tax system hadn't changed, but I had, and that made all the difference. These days, the panic's gone. Mostly. I still flinch when I see a brown envelope with that glorious eagle logo staring at me, but I open it. That's progress, right? Now, I'm the one people come to when they get their first German letter and whisper, "What does N large S mean?" Or, "Do I need to pay VAT if I only make 200 a month?" And I get it because I was them. So I walk them through it. We talk about registering freelance, about the difference between income tax and trade tax. I show them the Elster platform, where to click, what to ignore, and which forms to file if they did a bit of tutoring, editing, or sold crochet frogs on Etsy. I even made a tiny checklist how not to accidentally owe the Finanzamt, which now lives in 3 group chats and 1 community WhatsApp group called International Hustlers Berlin. It's not glamorous, but it feels good. There's something strangely empowering about knowing how to exist within a system that once terrified you. I still make mistakes, still forget a receipt or mislabel an invoice, but I fix it, I track it, I own it. The chaos is calmed, life's still complex, but I'm no longer winging it. And now, when someone says we thought it was split, but it wasn't, I smile and say, sit down, I've got a story for you. Here's what no one tells you when you move to Germany. Just because your income is split doesn't mean your responsibility is. It doesn't matter if you earned 300 from tutoring, 150 from translating, 400 from cafe shifts, and 22 from selling banana bread at a flea market if it went into your account. Germany considers it income, and income gets counted. I learned that the hard way. See, we assume the system is flexible when we're flexible. That because we feel like we're juggling tiny jobs that barely scrape rent, we're somehow below the radar. But Germany isn't guessing. They're not estimating. They're calculating quietly, thoroughly, and on time. I wasn't trying to cheat anyone. I just didn't know. I thought I was doing everything well enough. I thought I was invisible. Turns out, I wasn't. And here's the twist. Learning the system, understanding the rules, and owning your paperwork isn't scary once you stop pretending it doesn't matter. It's actually empowering. That first tax letter? Terrifying. But now? I file with confidence. I keep receipts like treasure. I know what I'm doing, and that's a freedom money can't buy. CTA. So if you're a student, a freelancer, an immigrant, or just someone who's ever said, but I thought it was under the limit, this story is for you. Don't wait for the brown envelope surprise. Follow for more painfully honest tax mistakes so you don't make them too. Subscribe for Tax Insider tips on envelope at a time. I'll keep it real. No jargon, no scare tactics. Just the lessons I learned from messing up and cleaning it up. Because surviving in Germany isn't just about learning the language. It's learning how not to accidentally break the rules you didn't even know existed. So yeah, we thought it was split. It wasn't. Now I know better, and you will too. Let's tax smarter, not harder.